Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now the company Core Essentials is a company that is fairly new to me. I was fortunate to be able to cover their booth at SHOT Show 2022 where I saw a number of their new products. Core Essentials doing a fantastic job with their new lineup, but today what we're going to do a two-part video. This video is going to take place both on my Outer Limitless channel and on Outer Limitless 2. We're going to look at two Core Essentials belts that are pretty much at this point staples in their lineup. So here, this is the X6, the X6 being a 1.5 inch belt. This is a gun belt, but I'm planning on using this pretty much more for EDC. And here, the Garrison. This Garrison is a 1.75 inch belt, more for the firearms sort of tactical application. And this is going to be a fantastic option for me for what I'm trying to do as I get into the firearm sport. So again, this is going to be a two-part video with certain aspects taking place on each channel. So if you want to see the entire review, you have to kind of dive between both channels to get all the details. But with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Core Essentials who did provide these for review. So this Garrison, again, this is a 1.75 inch webbing. There are a number of different styles, so you really end up with pretty much like the same kind of belt unless you go with the leather options, which you can do. That's one thing about Core Essentials. They have everything from the more tactically inspired to a little more low-key when you get into some of the leather options, and they stop looking like a gun belt and really more like your sort of office or casual wear. So depending on your needs and what you're trying to do, you can go a couple of different ways. Now here in this case, you can see the black belt, the black powder coated buckle. I wanted everything to be very subdued and just blend in. You can get things like gunmetal or different shades and colors for the belt, but again, the black working very well for me. Now, I do have to premise this part of the review by saying I'm not the most tactical guy. I am getting into firearms. I am carrying and, using my firearms as I can in the ways that I can, mostly in the waist belt carry, not a lot of outside the waistband carry. So with that being the case, this belt might be a little limited for me right now, where most of the clips that I have are 1.5 clips. This being 1.75, it might be a little bit difficult. I'm going to test some of the things that I have to see how it works out, but this is more intended for outside the waistband carry, so keep that in mind. Now here you can see the belt is on and ready to go, but these do not necessarily come like this. You do have to do a little bit of preparation to get these things ready, so let's take a quick minute. We're going to show you the details as to how you can prepare your belt.
Hey guys, Travis with Core Essentials. Today we're going to be going over Core Essentials Garrison Belts. The Garrison Belts are designed for the shooting range, tactical training, or law enforcement work. Core Garrison range belts are 1.75 inches wide, come in both leather and tactical versions with a few interchangeable buckles and belts. These are the preferred belts for range days and tactical training. What makes this belt a great range belt? All Core Essentials gun belts have our proprietary power core center that's stiff, supportive, yet totally flexible for all-day comfort. It is actually stronger than steel and virtually unbreakable. All our Garrison belts arrive to you in one very long length. You cut it down to size. Leather belts fit from 24 up to 44 inches. The nylon web Garrison belts fit from 24 inches up to 54 inches. So here's how to size your Garrison belt. Turn the belt over and locate the size markings imprinted on the back of the belt. Then locate your pant size on the markings. Add 6 inches and cut using sharp, heavy-duty scissors or a serrated knife. So for example, if your pant size is 34, cut it at the 40-inch mark on the back. Make sure to take your time and cut it straight. Remember, once you cut it, you can't put it back. If your pant size is larger and closer to the end of the markings, don't bother cutting it. Next, take your buckle, use the 2mm hex wrench to remove the 2 set screws, open the teeth clamp, insert the belt, and clamp it back down. Before you cut any more, try the belt on next with your holster and your firearm to test the fit. Feed your belt left to right so the release tab is under the buckle. If the belt tip sticks out more than 3 to 4 inches beyond your first belt loop, you may want to trim it off another inch or two. Gently push the wrench all the way in and turn it firmly. Do not over tighten. Just make sure it is flush with the buckle. To see all of our Core Essentials gear, visit coreessentials.com.
And now that you've seen how I got this ready as it's on my body, the first thing I can say is, well, when you look, a little too much tail here. As I mentioned, I am pretty much dabbling around the 32-inch to 33-inch waist size, so I cut this belt assuming a 33-inch waist. Now, the instructions say add 6 inches, that puts it to 39, and in my opinion, that is definitely too much. The problem with this being, this is quite thick. It's going to get in the way of a lot of clips and the ability to actually mount things onto this belt. Like for example, I have this Nightcore flashlight. If you look at this side, the 1.75 inch webbing is thick enough, but I can get this into place. It has some spacers and it fits in here just nice. I can space this out actually a little bit more, and that'll fit a little bit better for the 1.75 inch webbing. But on this side, it's just a little too tight. I mean, you really need to sort of work to get this in there, and at that, it's sort of stressing on the clip. So in a perfect world, in my opinion, what I would really like to do is get this trimmed down even more and really closer to this first loop here. You do end up with the elastic keepers, which is nice, but I'd probably prefer to run my elastic keeper in here so that if I get to the point where I actually want to loosen my belt just a little bit or have a carry situation or something that just requires the belt not to be quite as tight, I do have the ability to loosen it, and then that elastic will catch the end of this versus it flapping out. And then what that means is this whole side of my belt on my weak side is going to be single thick and not double thick. So to me, a lot of this should really be trimmed up. Of course, I do that on the buckle end and not on this end, and follow the same sort of logic as I did when I got this ready in the first place. But to me, that's going to make a big difference. Now, as we move forward, there are a few other things that can be done. Like, for example, if you don't want to wear on the nylon, these do come with sort of a protector sleeve, which is nice. This is actually an add-on, but they do have them available both for the 1.5 and 1.75 inch belts. So here you can see this protector sleeve that can go on here, and that will help to avoid any fray or rub. Now for this, I am going to cant the buckle to the side, although they suggest that this is not the best for appendix carry. However, I am going to try to prove that out right now and see how it goes. So as I get this sleeve into place, it is a little bit snug. So if you had to do this every day, it may be a little bit of a chore, but at the same time, this should be able to slide past your pant loops if you have appropriately sized pants. And just for the example, these are Vertex. Vertex is a tactical company, so they pretty much have most of their belt loops appropriately sized for that need. So they kind of think this stuff through as they design their products, which is nice. Getting this belt into place and fairly adjusted. You can see it takes a little bit to get things positioned, but once this is set up, it should be about where I need it. So there you go. So that's going to be your belt protector out in front. Here, this Kydex holster, I do not believe is really going to fit properly, but I am certainly going to test this and see if these clips will make it over this. And as you can see there, it is so close, but not quite. And in fact, I think without the protector, this might actually go. But in reality, these are 1.5 clips. If I was going to use this belt for in the waistband carry, I would have to swap these out for 1.75 inch clips, which I could certainly do. And same here with this VersaCarry holster. You can see here, if I can slide that into place, this one does seem to go. Again, it is a little bit tight, but it does seem to go. So if I wanted to carry appendix, I really don't see this being a problem. In fact, this seems to work out pretty well. Gives me a nice secure draw, no worries. So that's going to work out just fine. The spring clip is definitely wide enough to accept the belt. So I don't really see there being a problem here for appendix carry, even though the people at Core suggest that's not the primary use for the Garrison belt. Now, as we take a look at this in detail, you can see across the front the typical webbing. here a number of stitches throughout. So 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches as you work your way down the belt. In fact, it looks like it may be double stitched on both the top and the bottom as well. Now on the inside, here you can see that power core. So there is a white layer in there, which is what gives it the inability to crush. So as you can see here, it is really firm in terms of the ability to withstand crushing, and that's giving it that nice rigidity that you need. But then at the same time, the belt can twist and flex and kind of move with you, which is nice. On the inside, you can see the graduation. So this is all the section that I cut off. As I mentioned, that's the indicator that I was working off of as I cut this to size. The edges of the belt finished off very nicely, so you're not seeing anything on the inside like the core. So now at this point, let's take a look at this X6 for not just an EDC, but a good quality gun belt. Now for the EDC belt, this will work for a number of different holsters. Anything with 1.5 inch spacing is going to be just fine. Now for this particular case, you can see that this is going to have a little bit of a hard time spanning across the buckle. So I am going to have to cant my belt to the side, kind of get it off to the side to be able to rock this. If I did have a different holster with a single point of retention, that would work out just fine for appendix carry, and certainly anything hanging on the outside of your belt. But for the inside the waistband carry, you do potentially have to shift this over. Now let's just say you want to avoid a little bit of, I don't know, abrasion or scuffs or damage. You can get one of these belt protectors. So this one made specifically for the 1.5 inch, sliding this into place as I get this across the front of me. Sort of sliding that in. Now I'm going to get the belt again canted to the side and adjusted. And now that I have this here, getting my appendix carry into place. The clip's going right over that belt protector, which is awesome. And it actually beefs out the belt just a little bit. Not that it needs it, but it does. And that's going to be about perfect. So that's sitting in there nice and firm. Fantastic. Getting my firearm down and into place. That works out just about perfect. In fact, I love this. This is going to be nice. So all in all, working very well as its intended use as a firearms belt. I do have to say, this is going to be a great upgrade to my carry situation. And so, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. A look at these core essential belts in some pretty good detail, running through both the X6 model, but then also the Garrison. I hope you enjoyed that. This is the first time I've really done a dual channel review. So if you didn't catch all the details, you got to go back, take a look at both my Outer Limitless and Outer Limitless 2 channel to get all the details on these wonderful products. And again, I'd like to say thank you very much to the people at Core Essentials for providing these for review. Awesome to catch up with them at SHOT Show 2022. Now getting my hands on their belts, gonna put them to good use, and you're gonna see more of these out into the future. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.